How you doing, everybody? Hope everyone is well. Before I start talking, can everybody see and hear me okay? Everyone see and hear me okay? How are we all tonight? Sunday, new week starts tomorrow. Yep, you can all see and hear me okay. Fantastic. How are we all this evening? How are we all? I hope everyone is well. I hope everyone is having a fantastic weekend. Um, just to get it out of my system. I'm sorry, Liverpool. Fantastic Real Madrid. Amazing. And I'm sorry about Huddersfield today, my hometown. They lost, so they're not coming to the Premiership next year. But well done, Nottingham Forest.
And rugby league.
Oh, and rugby league, but I don't care about rugby. I don't like rugby.
Yeah, but it's still your hometown.
It's not my own town.
It is.
I wasn't born and
You
bred here,
live here, though.
but I don't support Huddersfield at all.
Yeah, but you don't support MK Dons.
No, I don't. Anyway, this is not about football. This is about a very interesting topic that I'm going to be talking about tonight. It's about an island, okay, called North Sentinel Island. It's an island that's not changing time. Like, they still live either before the Iron Age or with the Iron Age. Okay, so more and more we go into it tonight, you will see why. How you doing? Please shout out far and wide, and let's have a little talk about this island and see how much you know about this island. I knew it existed, but I didn't know much about the island until I looked into the island and looked more around the backstory of it. So I think the best thing for me to do is to show you this island. So please bear with me. I'm truly, truly hoping, if this mouse works, this works properly. So as you can see, we have Google Maps. So here we are. So there's us, the United Kingdom, over here. And you go across Europe, across Turkey, Iran, you go to India. Right. And then just south east, right? Next to Bangkok, Thailand. Okay. In between them, by the Bay of Bengal and the Bengal and the Andaman Sea. Okay, you have this little island, and if we zoom right in, this little island right here, and it's called the North Sentinel Island. And this is the island. This island has an amazing tribe, but before I go into that, I do want to show you some pictures so you get to know. A bit worried about my daughter. She's 24 weeks pregnant and she's dizzy spells tonight, nearly passed out. But she's got high blood pressure. Get her to the doctors or hospital. Definitely. Jane, bless you. Hope
But
she's.
it's more likely to be low blood
Yeah,
pressure
definitely.
than
Definitely.
high.
So, on this, so let me just show you some pictures. Okay. We are going to talk a lot more about this ship. Okay. This ship's quite important. And I will be talking a lot more about this ship as tonight goes on. This is a picture taken from the tribe. And you're thinking, why is it so blurry and why is it so far away? I'll get more into that as well as the night goes on. As you see, they're still holding spears and bow and arrows. So they haven't evolved. They haven't evolved like the rest of the world has. See there with an arrow, spears. caught fishing. Okay, this is a very, very old picture from the I think early 90s, 80s. This was taken, and then that's the picture of the tribe on the beach. Um, so yeah. So a bit more about a ship. Well, that ship that you just saw, and we will be talking about the ship, I believe, if it's in the documents that I've got, crash landed on this island. And if you zoom in, right in the top left corner, you can see it here. On this beach, you can see the ship right there. And it is still there today. That is the ship that crash landed on the North Sentinel Island. So, right. So, let's talk about, okay, let's talk about the island and why is it so famous? Why is it so unique to the rest of the world? Okay. And I only just know, I literally about 4 days ago, hey, I talked about this island. I was like, wow, this island is crazy. Like, I didn't know it actually exists. First thing first, they are stuck in the Iron Age, right? They have no electricity. They have probably don't know how to do fire yet, right? There's no sign of fire on the island, okay? They think that they're so far and undeveloped, like the rest of the world has. It's like going and living like a caveman on this island. And it's so amazing. So let me start reading what I found out. So it goes in the death of an American tourist who illegally visited the isolated North Central Island had drawn the world's attention to the small islands because reading it says it's legal because it is illegal to visit this island. It is controlled by um, by my mind's gone blank. It is controlled by. Let me just zoom out, guys. 2 seconds. India, I believe it is. Yeah, the island is controlled by in India, and it has a 3 mile, 3 kilometer range around the island. So no one can go in that red zone around the island. It is completely protected by people on the outside for many reasons. But yes, and it's surrounded by warships and boats to stop people from entering the island. So they have no communication with the outside world. So Northern Ireland is a small island off the main shipping routes, surrounded by a shallow reef with no natural harbours. Partly to protect protective laws enforced by the Indian government, and partly to their own fierce defence of their home and privacy, but they are not entirely uncontacted. Over the last 200 years, outsiders have visited the island several times, and it's often end up badly for both sides. There has been deaths. These tribe has killed man. Okay, they have killed people that has visited this island in the past. So, who are they? According to a 2011 census effort, and based on a anthropologist estimates of how many people are on the island, there are probably somewhere between 80 to 150 people that live there. The Sentinelese people are related to other in, uh, indigenous groups in the
Indigenous.
indigenous groups in the Andaman Islands, a chain of islands in the Indian Bay of Bendigo. But they've been isolated for long enough that other Andaman groups, like the Ongij of the Jawara, can't understand their language. So they may be talking in a way that we do not fully understand. Okay, they might be talking to a language that no one can ever discovered. You know, that's like amazing to think about as well. You know, based on a single visit to the village in 1967, we know that they live and learn. They live in lean-to huts with slated roofs. Pendit described a group of huts built facing one another with a carefully tended fire outside. Oh, they do have fire then. Fire outside each one. The thing that I saw didn't say that they didn't do fire, so he got his facts wrong. Um, um, we know that they build small, narrow outreach canoes, which they maneuver with long poles in relative shallow, calm waters inside the reef. From those canoes, the sentinel fish they fish crabs. Basically, they basically eat fish and crabs. They hunt and gather, and their lifestyle is anything like that of related Annamese people. They probably live on fruits and tubers that grow in the wild on the islands, eggs from seagulls or turtles, and small game like wild pigs or birds. They carry bows and arrows as well as spears and knives. And unwelcome visitors have learned to respect their skill with all the above. They are very, very skillful. Okay, they are very skillful. Um, Many of those tools and weapons are tipped with iron. I'll get more into iron in a minute. Tipped with iron, which the people probably found wash ashore and worked to suit their needs. Right, remember that ship that crashed? Well, they have been spotted basically ransacking that ship, taking all the iron, all the goods from that ship into their own home.
You sat too close, Wayne.
Who?
You.
You know. Anyway, so they've basically taken all that goods from that ship that I showed that crash land, that shipwrecked on their island. So they are learning now how to use iron, and that's what this guy said. Before that, they was using normal wooden bows. So from that ship landing, they've sort of like learned how to use iron tools now. You know, so that is amazing. You know that they actually are in the Iron Age. Um, they tend to wave mesh baskets, and they use wooden tip anzers tipped with iron. Salvage crews anchored near the island. Oh, okay. So salvage crews anchored near the island in mid 1990s to describe bonfires on the beach at night and the sounds of people singing. But so far, none of the Sentinelese language is known to outsiders. Anthropologists,
Look. Anthro.
Popul-
Anthropologists
usually make a point to refer to people by the name they used for themselves, but no one outside North Central Ireland actually knows what Sentinelese call themselves. Let them know how great them or ask their view of the world as their role in it looks really like. So no one can actually talk to them to find out how do they. Can I change to Christians, please? Okay, I don't know what that means. So imagine like living in this island. You can't talk to folk. Folk can't talk to you, but you're having a conversation, trying to understand. And imagine how they would look if they saw people to turn up on their island, and crazy. What we know for sure is that they don't care much for company. and they've expressed that clearly without a common language. Why don't Sentinelese like visitors? One night in 1771, an East Indian Company vessel sailed past Sentinel Island and saw lights gleaming onto the shore. But the ship was on a hydrographic survey mission, and had no reason to stop. So the Sentinelese remained undisturbed for nearly a century until an Indian merchant ship called the Nymphoea ran aground on the reef. 86 passengers and 20 crew managed to swim and splashed their way to the beach. They hurdled there for 3 days. Huddled there for 3 days before the Sentinelese eventually decide that the intruders have overstayed their welcome. A point they made with bows and iron-tipped arrows. Western history only records the side of the. Oh, so they only hear one side of the account, of course. But it's interesting to speculate on what might have been happening in the Sentinelese village behind the scenes. Was there a debate of how to handle the newcomers? Did the shipwreck victims cross the boundary or violate the laws unknown to them, prompting the Sentinel's response, or did it just take them 3 days to decide what to do? Maybe they didn't know that they were there, Who knows? The passengers and crew responded with sticks and stones, and the two sides formed unnecessarily until the Royal Navy vessel arrived to rescue the shipwrecked survivors. While they were in the neighbourhood, the British decided to declare Sentinel Island part of Britain's. Oh, so they used to be a part of us. Okay, that's interesting. A decision which really mattered only to the British until the 1880. But didn't England used to own? Keep on forgetting the place. India. Did England used to own India? I swear we did.
I think so, yeah.
I think we used to own India. Sure. Do you guys at home know that? Did England used to reign over India? You have in India?
Let's have a look.
Yeah, Google it. It did with many pretty till the 1980s. That's when a young Royal Navy officer named Maurice Vindle Portman took charge of the Andaman and Niagara colony. Portman fancied himself.
We used to rule India.
Used to rule India. Yeah, they did.
It lasted from
1858 to 1947. Yeah, so England used to rule India. I thought they did. Portman fancied himself an anthropologist. Yeah, and in 1880 he landed on the North Central Island with a large party of naval officers, convicts from the Penal Colony, and Great Andaman Island and Andamanese trackers. They found only hastily abandoned villages. The people seem to have seen the intruders coming and fled to hiding places further inland. But one elderly couple and 4 children must have lagged behind. The Portman and his search parties captured them and carried them off to Port Blair. That's near, right? So you want to know where Port Blair is? Port Blair. Okay. So we got it here. Okay, we got that there. Well, Port Blair Oh, this mouse. Right, so the island, as we said, is here. Okay. The island is here. So they captured them and sailed them to Port Blair. And Port Blair is right here. Okay. This is Port Blair right here. So he must have sailed around and coming from this side of the ocean. So that's where Port Blair is, right next to the island on mainland. So the colony capital of South Andaman Island. Soon, all 6 of the kidnapped Sudanese became desperately sick, and the elderly couple died in Port Blair. Portman somehow decided it was a good idea to drop off the 4 sick children on the beach of North Senegal along with a small pile of gifts. We have no way to know whether the children spread their illness to the rest of the people or it was the impact of might being. So that's another reason. Okay, that's another reason. Thank you, guys. Thank you. British Radio period. Yeah. Thank you very much for that. Yeah. Thank you. That's another reason why people can't visit the island as well because of the disease. Okay, we get our jabs. Okay, the moment we are born. Okay, right through our lives, we have tetanuses, we have jabs for all sorts of illnesses and stuff. These people on this island don't have jabs. Okay, they ain't immune to the systems that we are immune to. Okay, they are still stuck in their times. I mean, their lifespan is probably not as much as we are, you know? So that's why people can't go to the island because of the risk of spreading diseases among the people. But the experience definitely didn't leave the Sentinelese with warm, fuzzy feelings forward towards the foreign visitors. In age, so basically, remember, if someone took someone from you, especially children, from the outsiders, everyone now will be a risk. That'll be in their teachings. That'll be in their stories that they pass down from elderman to elderman. You know, they're passed down through the generations. You know what I mean? So if I turn up on an island, I'll take someone's children, and then I don't know, 50, 60 years later, I gotta go back, but someone else goes back. They're thinking, you know what? I remember that 60 years ago. You know what I mean? You took my child. You took my elder people. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be right. But the experience didn't leave the sympathies feeling fuzzy between full visit. In 1896, an escaped convict fled to try to flee the Great Andaman Island Penal and on a makeshift raft. In an excellent in an excellent display of escape. So basically, he was he fled the island and landed on this island. So he fled the mainland and landed on this island, right? So here it says it's a concept of out of the frying pan and into the fire.
Out of the frying pan?
Yeah, into the fire. He washed on the North Island. A colonialist search party found his remains a few days later, full of arrows wounds, with his throat cut. The British wisely decided to leave the Sentinelese people in peace, for at least for the next century or so. So they were still undisturbed, okay, for quite a while. Is it possible to make friends with these? Yeah, how crazy is that? How crazy is that? Like, you escape from prison, you escape from custody, you get onto a makeshift raft, stand across, think you're free, then you crash land onto an island, and
the natives kill you.
And then the natives kill you. Like,
some justice, that really.
You know, crazy. Is it possible to make friends? 100 years after the wreck of the Nineveh, a team of anthropologist.
Anthropologist.
Yes, that's the one. Led by Trinak Na Pandit, worked under a auspices of the Indian government.
Species.
Auspicious.
The Indian government.
Indian government landed on a north central island. Like Portman, they found only hastily abandoned huts. So they must be on alert all the time, eh?
Yeah.
They must be on alert all the time. They must have watches, you know. So anyway, they basically found hastily abandoned huts. The people had fled so quickly that they left their fires still lit outside their homes. Pandit, so they must have do you think they have underground tunnels and stuff? Do you reckon they have like you know what I mean?
Is it sand though?
What? No, it's like sand on the outside, and it's like all jungle.
Well, they're probably going to jungle.
They're going to the jungle. They've got hides. They're like really well. That's their home. They know their home by the back of their hand.
Yeah.
You know, the people had fled so quickly they left the huts, still finding out the homes. Pandit and his team left gifts, bolts of cloth, candy, and plastic buckets. But the naval officers and Indian police accompanying Pandit also stole from them. See, this is what I mean. Why? Essentially, he's taking bows, arrows, baskets, and other items from their unguarded homes. Desperate, the unpolished possess, still not a great showing for the outside world. Exactly. You know, you're stealing from them. You want to show peace and love, yet you are taking from them. You know? Hey, how you doing, DNTV? I'm sure they have secret areas they can use to get to other areas of the island. Yeah, exactly. They have shortcuts and all sorts. Guarantee you. Meanwhile, North Central Ireland has been in a state of legal limbo since India gained its independence in 1947. In 1970, India claimed the isolated little island, and so they dropped a stone tablet on the beach to say so. There's no record of this Sundanese response. Pandit and his colleagues kept trying to make contact, mostly pulling a dinghy onto the beach, dropping off coconuts and other gifts, and beating a hasty retreat. The Sundanese didn't care much for live pigs, which they spread and buried into the sand, or plastic toys, which got much of the same treatment. But they seemed pleased with metal pots and pans, and they quickly grew very fond of coconuts, which don't grow on the island. Pandit and his colleagues delivered them by the bagful, unusually with bows and arrows trained on them until they departed 25 years. Was it? With them bagfully, usually with bows and arrows trained on them until they departed. 25 years passed that way with no direct contact, but Pandit thought the visitors were building up some trust. So he basically delivered like coconuts and gifts for them. You know. So that's cool. But when he delivered, they were always having their bow and arrows at them. That's where we got some of those pictures from. You know. That would be amazing. That's amazing. The visitors were sporadic until 1981.
Sporadic.
A National Graphical Film crew tagged along in 1974, and the director caught an arrow on the fire of his trouble. The exiled King Leopold III of Belgium passed close to the island on a boat tour in 1975, and the Sundanese warned him off with arrows. For some reason, the king was absolutely delighted by the whole thing. In 1981, a cargo ship called the Primrose and her crew of 28 ran around on the reef in an era echo of the Navara. But this time, the sailors were rescued by the helicopter. And later visitors to the island say that the Sundanese seem to have salvaged metal from the ship for their tools and weapons. For artisans use working with scraps of metal that washed ashore, and whole ship must have been incredible to find. That same year, Pandit and his team stepped up their efforts, dropping by the island every month or two. A decade later, a year before Pandit's retirement, that regularly persistence paid off. One day in 1991, um, a group of islanders came to the beach to collect their gifts with no weapons, just wove baskets and gaze and azes that they used to cut open coconuts. Although later encounters proved how well those azes could be used in self-defense. They ventured closer to the outsiders than ever before. Later that day, when the anthropologists returned, they found 24 Sentinelese people standing on the beach, and an interesting scene played out. A man raised his bow to aim at the visitors, and a woman pushed her bow down. Was it? And a woman pushed the bow down. So when he went to do that, the woman was like, "No." You know what I mean? No. The man responded by dropping the bow and arrow and burying them in the sand. All right. It's still not clear whether this was a negotiation in progress or a ritual display. But soon as the weapons were disposed of, the people rushed out to the visitors' boats to collect their coconuts. So they showed some sort of form of peace. But Sentinelese hospitality has its limits. On another visit, a few weeks later, a Sentinelese man signaled to Pandit that it was time for the guests to leave, but drawing his knife and making a cutting gesture. If we tried to venture into their territory without respecting their wishes or got too close for comfort, they would turn their backs on us and sit down on their haunches as it to deflate. What's that say?
Defecate.
To defecate. That was meant to be an insult. If we didn't pay heed to and stop, they would shoot arrows as a last resort. So it's quite interesting. This is like they are like I can put it. They are welcoming, but you can only go too far. I mean, you can't come too close to them. They are still a private sort of tribe. You know, like they don't want to get to know people too much, but they are welcoming gifts. You know what I mean? Like they welcome all kinds of gifts. It's quite interesting. It really is. You know, um, the 10 years friendship between the islands and the apologists
Anthropologists.
never moved beyond coconut handouts. The Sentinelese never offered gifts in return and never invited the visitors to stay or venture inland. And neither side ever learned how to actually speak with the other. They still communicate, you know. But they were shocked to see white people. Probably, you know. I mean, you know, sometimes, you know, you see how people.
If they've never seen white people, they might have been scared and all.
They could be scared.
You never know, do you?
They could be scared, you know. I mean, you talk about a tribe that's never come out of the Iron Age, yet they've seen helicopters and ships and all sorts, and made out of iron and steel. You know, like you'd be petrified. You literally would be petrified. You know, and in their faith, in their religion, whatever their religion is, you know, could that be classed as a demon or, you know, the devil, you know, or something from hell? You know, if there's all something they didn't explain, you don't know how they think, you know. So they didn't always welcome visitors. Sometimes the anthropologists were still greeted by armed men on the beach. The Indian government suspended the Arpalavas visit in 1996. When Indian Coast Guard's helicopters flew over the island after, in 2004, tsunami, they found the Sentinelese in good shape and not all and not at all pleased to see them, and not at all hesitant to attack the helicopter with bows and arrows. So they had actually attacked the helicopter that flew over with bows and arrows. It's absolutely crazy. A couple of years later, in 2006, an Indian crab harvesting boat drifted ashore, and the Sentinelese killed both fishermen and buried their remains. Right? That's in 2006. So what happens now? Given that history, it's not remotely surprising that the Sentinelese people saw American tourist John Allen Crouch, a trespasser, when he stepped onto their island earlier this month. So basically this was done in I think that was in 2018. And what I'll do is I'll get that. I'll copy his name, okay, and I'll read his story after this, and you can know a bit more about him. This is the most recent. I think it's 2018. This happened. Okay, so about what, 4 years ago? 4 years ago, this happened. Earlier this month, and stood on the beach singing hymns. They chased him away twice, but when he ventured ashore a third time, they believed to have killed him. Now it's appeared they buried his remains, and as they did when the two fishermen in 2006.
How do they know that though? If nobody can go on that island.
But no, the Indian government has now. Yeah, that's a good point. How do they know? The Indian government has now called off the search for Chu's body, citing danger to both search personnel and the Sentinelese people. The incident has sparked discussion about protections for relative uncontracted groups like the Sentinelese. Pandit is agitated with leaving them behind, leaving them be. According to the now retired, he said the Sentinelese have made it clear they don't want contact and are doing a fine job on their own. The Indian officials continue to visit the island, you know, and the last time they visited the island was in 2011. So that's that one. So let's find more about this guy that died recently.
So cooks have to probably eat them.
Do you think?
Well, I'm just reading what Phil Cook's book.
Do you think they are carnivores?
They could be. But if they don't go to the island, how do they know that they killed them?
Yeah. So firstly, let me get a picture.
They might be just decided to move there and be living among them. Who knows?
So let me get a picture of this John Allen Chew. Let's put this up again. So that's John Allen Chew. This is the guy that died recently. Okay. Thank you, Sherry. Died recently on this island. Okay. Let's have a little chat, or let's have a little search and find out who John is. Okay. The life and death of John, the man who tried. Okay. The Guardian. Okay, this is the international The Guardian now.
Somebody's put on yours. They might be holding them captive.
Could be my Holland Club. Who knows? So they've got a bit of a backstory, I think, here of John, and a bit of story here. So I'm going to read this news article out. It's actually on the Guardian. It's a well-known newspaper in the UK. and the title is "The Life and Death of John Chu, the man who tried to convert his killers." Okay. Um, and what date is this on? This date of this newspaper article is 2019, so it's even sooner. The 26-year-old American adventure blogger was killed by an isolated tribe last year, in 2018. His father blamed extreme Christianity. What his father blames. One day, a small child, John Allen Chu, was rooting through his father's study when he found something curious and alluring. An illustrated edition of Robinson Crusoe, the classic story of a sailor shipwrecked on a desert island. After struggling my way to read it with an early elementary school English, he later told a website for outdoors enthusiasts, I started reading easier, kid-friendly books like The Sign of a Beaver, which inspired my brother and I to paint our faces with wild blackberry juice and tramp through the backyard with bow spears we've created from sticks. In November, I think it's best if I can actually show you this. Actually, read it as I go through. There we go. So you can sort of see like the maps and stuff, and then this is a picture of him here, and the woman behind Christian ministry John Allen Chu, 26, who died on November 17th on a remote island. So that's like a selfie that he took, not on the island, of course, just at one of these adventures. So 6. In November, on an obscure island in the Indian Ocean, Chu, a 26-year-old American adventure blogger, a beef jerky marketeer, and a evangelical missionary, was killed by the isolated tribe he was attempting to convert to Christianity. Oh, right, so he was attempting to convert them to Christianity. Right, that didn't go down well. Because why would they want to change their ways if they've been like that for hundreds of years, thousands of years? You know?
Why would you try?
Why would you try? You know? He must have heard about the past stories and stuff like that as well, you know, of the attempts. When Chu's deaths became international news, many Christians were keen to disavow his actions. Chu's father believed the American ministry community is culpable in his son's death. John was an innocent child, his father told me, who died from extreme vision of Christianity taken to local constitution. All nationals trained to describe him as and privilege sharing. The gospel is involved at great cost. Dr. Mary Ho, the Old Nation leader, said the statement, "We pray that John's sacrificial efforts will bear into fruits to due season." What?
Will be eternal fruit in due season.
What?
But the thing
He
is, how
sacrificed
do they
himself.
know that they killed him?
Don't know. Ho also told news organization that Chu had received 13 immunizations through Survival International, an endangered right group. Despite that, these would have prevent infections of these people. Essentially, hunter-gatherers who inhabit North Central Island in the Andaman Islands chain are considered of one of Earth's last uncontacted people. Their entire tribe is believed to be number several dozen people. John Allen Chu is not a martyr, respond one Twitter user, capturing the privileged statement on social media. Just a dumb American who thought the tribes needed Jesus, when the tribes already lived in harmony with God and nature for years without considering interference.
Outside interference.
Look at that. Imagine flying over and you see something like that come towards you with bows and arrows. You know? Absolute amazing. I'm sorry, another comment, but what a deluded idiot. it's not about that, isn't it? It's about you get into a circle, isn't it? Like you see a lot of things happen around the world. Cults. You know, look at that mass suicide cult that happened years ago, where that guy convicted everybody to basically drink and commit mass suicide. It was literally the whole cult, the whole village died overnight. Do you know about that?
Mm.
Were they all? I mean, people believe what they're taught, and sometimes it's hard to see. Um, it's not much about him, is it? It's about what they were said. No, nothing really there. So yeah, I mean that was the latest one in 2018 was the last death, and there'll be more. Probably will be more. People will drift up and go on this island. This island has not been touched in thousands of years. And they've lived in their own way for thousands of years. Yes, I thought I'd share that with you. I thought I'd share that story with you that I was reading the other day on this island and about this island, and I thought, you know what, this is amazing. You know, yeah, leave them alone. Leave them alone. Let them live the rest of their eternity in peace. I think it's amazing that there's a tribe out there that hasn't gone past Iron Age. They're still stuck in Iron Age. You know, they haven't got electrics. They do fire, but how amazing is that? How amazing is these families or this tribe still exists in a world that we are when we've got TV and we've got VR and we've got planes and travel and all that, like it's crazy, absolutely nuts. Less than 100 or 150 miles from them, or probably about 50 miles on that place next to them, not India, the other side of them on the east side. Um, you know, there's people that drive cars and they have cars, so they're so close to the moderns of the world, yet they'd all be a part of it. This is with some comments. That'd be cool to see, but I'm not want to find out, to be honest. No, I won't want to be find out. That was so interesting, and knowing there are people living like that still today. Amazing. Yeah, there are. This is like they say that this is the last ever tribe like this. Civilization like this. This is the last one on Earth. Before I go, I do want to share with you some interesting facts. I'm not sure if you've seen this year, but 2022 has got some amazing, unusual stories, and I want to share this with you before I go. And I think you may like it. I'm hoping you will like it. Have you heard of? Wait, let me just spell it first. Have you heard of volcano sharks?
Volcano sharks.
Volcano sharks.
Volcano sharks.
Volcano sharks.
Volcano.
Volcano sharks. Have you heard of volcano sharks?
No.
Well, a very active, Kalafichi volcano in the Solomon Islands is being called Sharkano because scientists found sharks living in its crater. NASA captured this satellite image, of seriously, I'm not even making this up. Happened 14th of May this month, right? Or 20 or wait, whoa. Cookies. The story was making around the roots of social media yesterday, May 25th. Okay, this was a few days ago. Researchers have dubbed the underwater covered volcano as Sharkano are finding sharks living in its submerged crater. The cavity Sharknado lies in the waters of the Solomon Islands in the ocean near Australia, Papua New Guinea.
Papua New Guinea.
Papua New Guinea. Lava begins to erupt phase in October 21. And the satellite dates show dissolved water around Gaviti on several days in April and May 22. Okay. Engaging in eruptive activity. NASA's Earth Observator shared the satellite image showing discolored waters rising up from Karachi on May the 14th. The last large eruption occurred in 2014 and in 2007. Although volcano erupts nearly continuously, nearby residents often report seeing steam and ash. Okay. I wonder if I can get. Is that a ad or is that a video? Here we go. So these are the sharks. Oh no, that will go Twitter. If you see here, these are the sharks that they found down by the volcano. I'm not even making this up. And some of them are red in skin. It's absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating that a volcano erupted and sharks came out of it. Sharks came out of the bloody volcano. Crazy. Like lava sharks. You know what I mean? Like amazing. And there's another story as well about a sinkhole appearing. I think it was like is it here? I think this is it. I don't want to copy this because if I play this, nature's incredible. I know. Is this it? I'm going to show this. If it's not the right one. So basically, no, I'm not going to show that, guys, because I'm not sure it's the right one to show you. I'll find it out and I'll get my team to post it on my page. One about the sharks. Okay. That's problem. No problem at all. And there's a sinkhole opened up. Okay, and it unveiled this jungle. Okay, so a sinkhole literally appeared, and a jungle was underneath it. A whole living species of a jungle that's been covered up for years, thousands of years, and it's opened up now. And there's trees, 130-foot tall trees, wildlife that we've not seen in thousands of years. And literally, I'll get my team to post it up. And my God, crazy. Like literally, this year on discoveries are amazing. And this is the power of nature. Like Sam said, that nature is incredible. It really is. What other comment I see? Wow, that made adapting to the way it is. Exactly. So, but yeah, I thought I'd come live and share some stories tonight and see how you guys are. Something different. I know we're a paranormal team, but it's all about the unexplained and the unknown. And this is amazing to hear. So how do you feel about the live tonight, guys? How do you think how it went? We're doing an hour tonight. I've got some more stories that I want to share with you. there are lots of cities under the ocean, and we will lose cities in the future. Mother Nature is taking the Earth back. How exactly that? Exactly that. Yeah, Mother Nature will take the Earth back. And then, yeah, I totally agree with you. There is cities under the water. I totally agree with you. So, right, guys, that's me done. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for giving me your hour. I really enjoyed that tonight. Really have. I really do enjoy reading about the this island and how different they are from us and how time is frozen in still from them. While the Earth moves around and we all move on with our lives and we're evolving ourselves and technology and science and the medicine and all that, yet they are stuck in that one place. So, love and light to you all, and thank you for coming on. I will be back on Wednesday doing positive readings. Thank you very much. And something different tonight. Love and light to you, and make sure that you'll catch me. I think I'm actually Wednesday. I think I'm going live Wednesday morning in America as a guest. But I'll let you guys know for sure. But my live is Wednesday evening. So yeah, it's going to be good. Take care, everybody. Thank you very much for coming on. And remember, new week tomorrow, fresh week, fresh start. Make it count.